He looked me dead in the eyes across that polished mahogany desk, and when he spoke, it was like he was doing me a favor, like I should be grateful. We don't hire failures like you. The words landed with all the impact of a hammer on an anvil, but I didn't flinch. I didn't react the way he probably expected. I simply nodded. I understand perfectly. He smiled, smug, condescending. The kind of smile only a man with inherited power could afford to wear. He believed that would be the end of it. That was the moment I walked out, calmly, but never empty-handed. His name is Kareem. He's my wife's brother, my former best friend. There was a time when he slept on my couch during university, too proud to admit he was broke, and I was the one who helped him scrape through classes. I helped him build his resume, crafted his first pitch deck, and bled ambition alongside him. He used to call me his mirror, told me I reflected the man he wanted to become. Funny how mirrors never forget what they reflect. When I married his sister, he toasted us at the wedding, tears in his eyes. But when I lost everything 3 years ago, when my startup collapsed under the weight of a hostile takeover, he disappeared. No calls, no messages, not a single hand extended to help me back up, just silence, absolute silence. And then today, after months of trying to reconnect, like a fool reaching out, knocking on doors that were locked long ago, he finally invited me to his company headquarters. I thought, maybe, just maybe, there was a sliver of the man I used to know left inside. But he humiliated me in his office. I should have seen it earlier. The way his smile turned smug whenever my name came up at family dinners. The way he downplayed every achievement I had. When my company raised its first round of funding, he called it beginner's luck. When it failed, he called it inevitable. What I had mistaken for teasing was really resentment disguised as camaraderie. Jealousy is quiet at first. It feeds on itself, grows teeth, becomes an animal that can't be tamed. That night, I didn't sleep. I lay awake staring at the ceiling, the weight of all the things I'd done for that man pressing down on me, fueling a quiet rage. And then, as the hours bled into the early morning, something shifted. It wasn't revenge I was after, not yet anyway. It was truth. It was reclamation. I started small. His company had grown stagnant. I knew that. I knew the board. 2 of them owed me favors for my investment days. So I started with them, the same way I had with every deal I'd ever made. Quiet lunches, polite conversations, dropping hints here and there about quarterly growth slipping, murmurs about outdated leadership. Slowly, I watched their interest shift. I could feel the door starting to crack open. Then I dug deeper. I hired forensic accountants, not to uncover fraud. That wasn't my luck, but to expose inefficiencies, misallocations, the vendors who were overcharging by design. It was all there, sloppy, typical of a man who never built what he ran. I compiled a dossier, careful, methodical. I studied the bylaws of his company next. I learned that the board could vote in a new CEO if 2/3 of them agreed. Normally, that would be impossible, but I had leverage. One board member's son had been caught in a silent bribery scandal a year ago, something I'd stumbled on but never used. Until now, a phone call. The second one was easier. Money talks. I offered to fund his upcoming venture on one condition. He had to vote for a leadership change. 3 weeks of quiet moves, veiled promises, invisible handshakes. And last night, the board voted unanimously. I knew the moment had come when I saw him walk into the office this morning. Same suit, same arrogant smirk, like he was still in control. But when he stepped through the door, it was like the world had shifted on its axis. The receptionist didn't smile at him. His secretary stood in front of him, clearly anxious. "The new CEO wants to see you," she said, her voice flat. He laughed, dismissing it like some kind of joke. "New CEO? Your brother-in-law?" he asked, clearly expecting a punchline. But she didn't say it like a question. She said it like it was a fact. He barged in, expecting a joke, but froze the moment he saw me sitting behind his desk. My fingers steepled, and my wedding ring caught the light in a way that was almost cinematic. "You're in my chair," he said, voice thick with disbelief. "No," I replied calmly. "You were in mine." He stared at me, his eyes trying to process the words, trying to piece together the situation. What the hell is this? I slid the file across the desk, each page a quiet testament to everything he had built on lies. Your board thinks you're a liability, I said, my voice low and even. They asked me to clean up the mess, and I accepted. He opened the file. Page after page of financial leaks, staff turnover, missed opportunities, board notes, the final vote. His hands trembled as he flipped through them, and I watched him carefully, noting every shift in his expression. And then I saw it, the moment the crown cracked. You manipulated them, he whispered, his voice faltering but full of accusation. I tilted my head, my gaze never leaving him. No, I said softly. I just revealed what they were too polite to admit. He leaned forward, his voice shaking now. You think this makes you better than me? No, I replied, standing up slowly. I know it does. He looked around the office, at the walls, the view, at the empire he didn't build but had pretended to rule. And in that moment he knew this wasn't just revenge. This was reclamation. This was me taking back what I had earned. Security escorted him out. He didn't fight it, didn't shout. He simply walked, head down, silent, just like I had weeks ago. But this time, no one offered him an I understand. Later that evening, I stood alone in my office. The silence wrapped itself around me like a second skin. My wife called. She didn't ask what happened. She already knew. I warned him, she said, her voice soft. I know, I replied quietly. I'm proud of you, she added. I didn't answer right away. Instead, I looked out at the city below, at the building I now controlled, the same one I had once been banned from entering. He thought he won because I stayed quiet. He thought my calm meant defeat. But I've always believed in the long game. Vengeance, after all, is best delivered with precision, not heat. Just silence in a locked office door, waiting behind a secretary's calm voice. Some men build their legacy with words. Others build it with silence. And silence, in the end, is louder than any victory cry.